Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here. DIVOted Talks, DIVOted Talks, depending on how you want to say it, where we take ancient wisdom and practices and take them through a modern lens and experience to help end suffering for you and for those you love. I think I've landed on that. I think that might be the new line. Yes! Oh, man. So it's the holiday season. You probably can find one of these from December 2 years ago, I think, maybe a year ago. I don't know. Oh, so many emotions, so many feelings. December is when I'm recording this. You won't get this until later. But that being said, December's hard for me because, one, it just goes fast. It goes so fast. And then it's unpredictable. The weather's weird. Like on Monday, we had snow and ice, and it wasn't certain what was going to happen. I overslept for my first appointment. I thought I had set my alarm, but apparently I hadn't. Either that or I turned it off, and I don't really know which happened. And so I woke up and I was like, hey, are you waiting for me? And there's like, yeah. And I was like, I just woke up and I have to take the dog outside. So that was a weird time. And then we ended up canceling all the classes. Then we had to cancel classes in the morning on Tuesday. And then, it's just life happening, like I talked about in the last episode, and deciding how I want to relate to it. I have been exhausted by life lately, and that is my choice to be in relationship to it that way. And here I am admitting to you and to myself right now that that is what is happening. I am choosing to be exhausted by life. I am choosing to have its playing out be a drain on me. Now, is there a clear cut way to do it differently? No. Not really. Outside of really assessing what I'm doing, like I was having a conversation with my sister. It did get interrupted. But, it was, talking about, what am I manifesting? And that wasn't exactly her words, but that's where my head and where my stuff. And if you heard that in the background, that was the ice maker. I'm at the studio. It was the way I'm a part of the manifestation, right? We talked about not being separate from nature, and I'm not separate from the universe either. And the way things come to be in this world, energetically, we become matches to things and they are drawn to us, or we are drawn to the things to which we are vibrationally a match, and they come to fruition. And so my exhaustion is a match for whatever I've been putting out there. And I haven't even had the time or wherewithal to shift or change that in a way that eases the suffering outside of acknowledging it's there. Have you ever experienced that where you're like, I can't even. I just can't even. I can't even. And that's okay to be there. But becoming aware is the most important part, and one of the first steps towards the bigger picture here, which is being able to change. What am I putting out, and how am I influencing my world around me unconsciously right here, right now? And sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. It's, wow, I really do think this about myself, and therefore I'm manifesting validation for these things that I believe or feel about myself. I allow myself to be indoctrinated by other people about how hard I'm going to have to work as a solo business owner, and that has been my experience. And, where have I been making myself unavailable to different things, right? Like, have I been making myself resonant to people being drawn to me, or people wanting to work at this studio, or even just the thought that this is the studio, this is the place to be, this is the place people want to be? Like, I haven't really put that resonance out there. So if you are a member of our studio, thank you for being a member of my studio and you're listening to this. And those of you who are out there listening far away, I appreciate you just as much. This is my therapy. I've said that many times before. But how am I relating to this experience? and how hard it is. It's the relationship to it that creates the feelings about it. And it's the thoughts about it that create the emotional set point from which I'm operating. And so how do I work with that? Consistent practice, clearing your mind, being able to let go of that moment that you feel a certain way and access new potentials for that moment. And how do you do that? Regular practice, like we said, but also meditation. Understanding sometimes that these emotions and thoughts get trapped in the body, and in that trapping, we keep experiencing them. And so sometimes we have to work out the body to let those things move, to let them come undone, to let them release in a way that we can change what we're experiencing and change what we're feeling. And what does that mean? It's a good question. I'm stalling as the thoughts are coming because my client's going to walk in a minute. But how do you shift and change? Well, first, releasing anything that's holding you in a particular pattern is going to help. So exercising, doing yoga, stretching, letting the thoughts that are physically manifesting in your body as tightness, as, locked up, getting them out, getting them moving, getting them shifting, and then allowing yourself with a new clear mind, meditating, right? Like the whole purpose of asana, even though that's not what we do in the West, is about meditating. Like the goal is to practice the yamas and the niyamas, practice the pranayama, and then practice, the asana to help prepare ourselves for the meditation, which in the Yoga Sutras is about this dissolution of self and actually taking the point of which you are focusing your meditation to understand your oneness with that thing through the universe and through consciousness and through existence, right? This is all about unity, but we live our lives very separate. And that's one of the key experiences of suffering, is this separateness and this being so isolated that everything is, the elements, right? It's an exposure. In this isolation, we are now exposed to all of the things that life has to throw at us, and we have to do it alone. That is the biggest lie, but the most affirmed lie and experience within our existence in this plane. And so, that being said, my friends, I appreciate you deeply, and there isn't a magic bullet here that is going to fix everything. There isn't some pill that will switch everything and fix everything. There's only things that will help you be fortified and steadied so that when you come in contact with these things, you can do it well, and you can do it in a way that helps build you up and or sustains you rather than destroys you. And that is, one of the biggest things is I'm not going to be destroyed by the thing that I'm experiencing unless I let it. So between now and the next time we talk, be well and be free.